Hello, I want to share with you a story called InvisiBill by Maureen Fergus, illustrated by Dusan, Petricic. And it's brought to us by Tundra Books Publishers. Let's see what happens with InvisiBill. If somebody had passed the potatoes the first time Bill had asked for them, the wonderful, terrible thing that happened might never have happened. But nobody did. "Please pass the potatoes," repeated Bill, a little bit louder this time. Nobody even looked at him. Bill's mother, a busy woman with an important job, was busy discussing something important with his father, an important man with a busy job. Bill's big brother was reading a favorite textbook, and his little sister was watching world-class juggling on TV. "What am I, invisible?" muttered Bill. "Pass the potatoes." "Eat your potatoes, dear," said his mother, as she checked for messages on her whatchamacallit. "Watch your tone, mister," said his father, as he answered his thingamajiggy. "The scientific name for potatoes is Solanum tubersum," said his brother. "They're considered edible tubers." "Oh," said Bill. "Well, pass the edible tubers." Bill's sister reached for the edible tubers, but instead of passing them to Bill, she started juggling them. She was so good that Bill's mother, father, and brother all stopped what they were doing to watch her. It was then that the terrible thing happened. Bill turned invisible. Even worse, nobody noticed until it was time to clear the dishes. "Where's Bill?" asked his brother and sister, who did not want to get stuck clearing the table by themselves. "I'm right here," said Bill, waving his arms. "You see him?" But of course no one could see him or his arms. "What is the meaning of this behavior, young man?" demanded his father. Turning invisible is not," said Bill. "What are we going to do?" cried his mother. "Call the doctor," said his father. "And stay calm. Bill is probably just looking for attention." The next morning, Bill's mother took him to see Dr. Butlington. After describing Bill's symptoms, which included invisibleness and a little bit of an attitude, his mother said, "This is just like the time his cousin Clarissa got the chicken pox." "Turning invisible is nothing like getting the chicken pox," said Bill. Dr. Butlington agreed. "Turning invisible means that a person can't be seen," he explained solemnly. "Chicken pox are little red dots on the skin." "I see," said Bill's mother. "Is there anything we can do?" "A strong dose of permanent marker should do the trick," said Dr. Butlington. After praising Dr. Butlington's wisdom, Bill's mother took Bill home and used an orange marker to color his face and a green marker to color his hair. And then she ran out of markers. "I can't go to school looking like this," said Bill. "Don't be so concerned about how you look," said his mother. "Be proud of who you are on the inside." What do you think? Think you should go to school looking like that? But at that particular moment, Bill didn't care about who he was on the inside. What he cared about what the other kids were going to do when they saw his floating pumpkin head. And what they did was laugh. Whether he was playing tag at recess, or performing his trumpet solo in music class, or diving off the high board during swimming lessons, they laughed and laughed and laughed. By the end of that long, hard day of being laughed at, Bill was in no mood to eat dinner with his family, who had, after all, caused his invisibleness. So he took 3 peanut butter and pickle sandwiches up to his room and spent the evening with his gerbil Gerald. Together, they cooked up a plan to make Bill's family sorry for what they had done. The next morning, Bill put his plan into action. While his mother and father and brother and sister were rushing around, getting ready for their busy, important days, Bill tiptoed in the bathroom and scrubbed his head clean. Then he wrote a note to his family. Please don't you waste your valuable time looking for me, talking about me, thinking of me, or crying over me. Also, please don't forget to feed Gerald. Goodbye forever, Bill. Bill put the note where he knew his family would find it. Then he waited for somebody to notice that the floating pumpkin head was not rushing around getting ready for his busy, important day. He waited and waited and waited. Finally, just as everybody was about to hurry out the front door, Bill's mother remembered that it was garbage day. Where's Bill? Asked Bill's brother and sister, who did not want to get stuck taking out the trash by themselves. This time Bill didn't say, I'm right here, or wave his arms. Instead, he held his breath and watched to see what would happen. What happened? His family spent a lot of valuable time looking for him. When they found Bill's note, they got so worried that Bill's mother didn't notice her whatchamacallit was buzzing, and his father didn't hear his thingamajiggy beeping, and his brother's eyelids started to twitch, and his sister's teeth began to chatter. As he watched his family fret, Bill hugged himself hard and smiled a big invisible smile, because even though he knew it wasn't nice to worry his family this way, he couldn't remember the last time they had talked and thought about nothing but him. Then Bill's mother started crying and said it was her fault for making him go to school looking like a floating pumpkin head. And then his father started crying and said it was his fault for saying that turning invisible was an attention-seeking behavior. His brother started crying and said it was his fault for telling Bill the scientific name for potatoes. But his sister, when she started crying, said it was her fault for juggling the edible tubers that Bill wanted to eat. Right about then, Bill started crying because it was his fault that his mother and father and brother and sister were crying. And even though they were often too rushed or too distracted to pay proper attention to him, they were paying proper attention to him now. It was then that a wonderful thing happened. Bill turned visible again. Even better, everybody noticed right away. I'm so happy you're back, cried Bill's father. Dr. Butlington is a genius, cried his mother. It's your turn to take out the garbage, said his brother and sister. I know it is, said Bill. That night, before they sat down to dinner, Bill's brother closed his favorite textbook, and his sister turned off the TV. His father powered down his thingamajiggy, and his mother put away her whatchamacallit. And for a moment, all was quiet and calm. Then Bill's mother smiled at him and said, Would you like me to pass the potatoes, dear? Yes, said Bill. That is exactly what I would like. Thank you for listening to InvisiBill by Maureen Fergus.